So while I was seeding cover crops today, I thought it'd be a good time to talk about the main reason I like doing cover crops. You have all the normal reasons to do it: erosion control, soil health, putting nutrients into the ground, increasing the organic matter in your soil, things like that. But the main benefit and main reason I like doing it is for the wildlife. Over the years, as I've been kind of taking over seeding our cover crops, and then over the past 10 to 15 years that we've been doing cover crops, I've seen a large increase in the both diversity of species I see and also the numbers of individual animals I'm seeing around our place. A few examples of like animals that I've seen have a direct benefit from it: deer, turkey, rodents, which I know not everyone's going to care about, but because the rodents have a benefit, things like short-eared owls, northern hareas, other hawk species, fox, coyotes, things like that have all had a benefit. A few examples would be, on our acreage, we've got about 80 acres of timber. After harvest, all the deer would end up congregating at our place because there's also about 120 acres of a county park. And then the neighbors have like 200 acres or so of pasture timber that they run cattle on. Once the cattle are gone, there's not a whole lot of food for the deer on the pasture. But after harvest, the deer still end up congregating at our place for a while. Generally, by the time January ended, they'd be running out of food in the timber and they'd kind of all disperse. Now that we've been doing cover crops, I've been able to see that when we have a good stand of rye, triticale, camelina, whatever we're seeding that year, the deer stick around the whole winter. They don't disappear towards the end of January when they're running out of food. Another thing would be the gray partridge in our area have absolutely exploded. We went from seeing maybe a few gray partridge every year during pheasant hunting in like 1 or 2 locations to it's weird now if I don't see them. Like, especially when I'm out and doing field work or anything, if I don't see at least one group of like 8 to 12 gray partridge, it's just weird. The year that they really exploded, like at our acreage specifically, the neighbor grew rye for cover crop seed, and when he did that, I think it was like 120 acres of rye or something like that. We had a group of 36 partridge, which was, good Lord, which was 4 adults and, 36 chicks, 4 adults. And then there was another group that was 15 chicks and 2 adults. And most of them made it through the winter because like I was following them throughout the winter. And they had enough area to move around in with our fields and the neighbors' fields and cover crops. They were able to find food, able to find shelter. A few of them didn't make it. I saw 2 of them get taken by red-tailed hawks at different times. And then one I found that got hit by a car. But most of them made it. I think the last time I saw them, there was a group of 30 of them together. And then they hit the point where they all like disperse. Coyote running down the waterway. Anyway, things like turkey. Never had turkey around our place growing up. Now, I think last spring, I saw a group of 70 of them in one group at our place. Oh, God, there's an owl right here. Right when I was talking about it. Just kicked a short-eared owl out of the waterway right ahead of me. I was just about to start talking about them and how I've seen so many more of them over the past few years. I'm going to risk it and take a photo from the cab. It's not going to look good because it's through the window, but I'm going to try to get out and hopefully get a photo of him. easily the closest I've ever been to one of those. I don't even think it was more than 15 feet away across the waterway. I think it kind of like viewed me as part of the tractor originally as I was getting out, so I was able to get down into the waterway and kind of crawl over. Hopefully I had the camera pointed correctly so you could see that. One of the things I was going to talk about was with northern harriers and short-eared owls. Over the past few years in the cover crop fields, I've noticed, let me get started first before I talk. I'm excited, sorry. I'm all like scrambled about where I was after that short-eared owl. That's the first time I've gotten photos of them in like bright daylight. The light is not good for photos right now, but I've only ever photographed them before when it was kind of dark already. And I've never been that close to one before, so that was cool. So, if I remember what I was about to talk about, with short-eared owls and northern harriers, I've noticed a lot more of them over the past few years, and I've noticed a change in their behavior. Normally, they would fly just over waterways, hunting rodents, but then over the past few years, with cover crops, as long as there's a good stand of cover crops for the mice and stuff to shelter in over winter, they spread out through the field more, and I'll see harriers and short-eared owls hunting over a larger area, and I'm assuming there's probably more mice and stuff for them to eat at that point. They're at least spread out where they can get them. You know, instead of going into the woods where a northern harrier or short-eared owl isn't going to be able to hunt them, they're out in the fields, and they can hunt them like they normally would on a prairie or grassland. I'm going to get yelled at again by comments on Facebooks for stopping the tractor to take photos. That was like I think that was my first reel that hit over 1 million views, was of stopping to photograph a buck. And the reason it hit 1 million views was because half the comments were telling me I was an idiot for thinking it was a big deer, and the other half were of guys who had never been in a tractor before in their life telling me that a real farmer wouldn't have stopped the tractor to photograph deer. It didn't matter that I had been in the tractor, I think 10 hours that day, and stopped for maybe 5 minutes to take some photos quick of a cool looking buck. But anyway, hopefully no one yells at me about stopping to photograph the owl while I was about to start talking about them and how they're one of the species that benefit from cover crops. But yeah, so just benefits for wildlife. If you enjoy seeing a lot of wildlife, if you're into birding or just wildlife spotting in general, or if you're a hunter and a farmer and you like hunting deer, pheasant, partridge, turkey, stuff like that, all of those species are going to benefit if you do cover crops on your land. So maybe just take that into consideration if you're weighing in on if you should do cover crops or not. I know it does get mentioned sometimes when people are like trying to sell you on it or whatever, but I don't think it gets mentioned enough. So thank you so much for watching, and I'm going to do more videos on cover crops as springtime comes and the cover crops actually start fully coming in. It's a little easier then to show you some of the different species, different bird species especially, that benefit from them. Like last year when I was rolling cover crops before planting, I kicked a least bittern out of the field. Never seen one before. They're pretty rare here in central Iowa, and it was just using the cover that was provided by the cover crops to rest for the day before flying further north the next day. One of the things I want to do with my videos, it's not going to be every video, but I'm going to try to do it fairly often, is I want to highlight other wildlife photographers, especially Iowa wildlife photographers that you can follow. So for this video, the person I'm going to highlight is Grant Webster. I've been lucky enough to go out a few times with him to actually take photos and stuff. So I've got to know him a little better than... I gotta go. A bobcat is in Beeman right now. So sorry for the abrupt ending and change of scenery, but a bobcat is one of the things I really want to photograph this year, and one was just spotted in town about a mile away from my house, so going out there quick. Anyway, what I was saying was, one of the things I want to do with my videos is really highlight other photographers, other wildlife photographers, especially in Iowa. So for this video, I'm highlighting Grant Webster, and I'm mainly highlighting him for his amazing camera trap photos. He sent me a few to share with you guys. Oh, there go the turkeys too. He's really good at camera traps. He's got a ton of bobcats on camera traps. He's been having some luck with coyotes recently. And my personal favorite one is this one of a composite that he did of a bunch of different animals that he captured on his camera trap at one location. I just love seeing all the different species and how they use the area. So anyway, his info is Grant Webster on Instagram. It's right here. Make sure to go give him a follow, and I'll be highlighting other photographers on different videos. It won't be everyone. Next week's video is going to be about a trip my wife and I did last year to North Dakota to photograph grouse. So hopefully you'll subscribe, like the video, and watch out for that video next week. Thanks.